Are you ready for the weekend yet? We have events, news, and a guest for you to enjoy this Lake Life weekend. Hello and welcome to another episode of Lake Life Weekend Podcast. This is Dirk, I'm your host, and we're approaching weekend 38. Unfortunately, as we mentioned earlier, summer is over, but we have two seasons beginning. And with fall being the calendarial season and beautiful change in color and pumpkin patches and corn mazes and cooler temperatures is being one season, but I think the fifth season for many people is approaching, which is hunting season. In Germany, the fifth season is Carnival in the spring, but here we have hunting season. And I know a lot of people go out. I used to do some upland game hunting, and I will actually try to get out Oscar, our little small Munsterländer, which is a pointer and retriever by breed. And I think I will try to get him out and see what he can do this season. It's his first year. He's only 1 year in a couple of weeks, so we will see how he performs. And but we have John from Ultimate Outdoor Adventures, and we recorded a live podcast earlier at our expo this spring, which I'm happy to publish today. And I hope you will enjoy that. With all the ins and outs. It's a TV format that you may have seen. I think they have their for close to 20 years. And I know that a lot of people are watching that show, so I'm glad that we captured the story a little bit behind the scenes and what they're doing, and to get you ready for hunting. We will come with a special with our friends Mike Brown and Mike Carlson in the near future also about some more hunting tips for the upcoming season, getting ready and get your property ready and all those things. Yeah, well, I don't want to keep this much longer from our interview. Please, as always, go to our website, lakelifeweekend.com, for more stories, some pictures, and our event schedule. Please feel free to share any of your events coming up, and also email us with any ideas, tips, and also our magazine is coming this week, so we will distribute that all over the place. And then if you want one in the mail, just send us a quick note to hello@lakelifeweekend.com with your address, and we will gladly mail you the latest copy of our fall-winter issue of Lake Life Weekend magazine. Well, thank you for tuning in again, and I won't keep this much longer. Here you go with John from Ultimate Outdoors Adventure. Have fun. Have a great weekend ahead. Yeah, our next program is with John from Ultimate Outdoor Adventure. Hi, John.
How you doing?
I'm doing really well, thank you.
All right.
And I would like to learn more about your hunting, your program. We just heard the young generation talk about YouTube and those things, and you have been establishing a hunting program for 20 years?
Yeah, correct. We're going on number 17, and I got hats off to those kids. It's amazing nowadays what a phone and YouTube channel, and they're starting to run their cameras and they're editing. Those kids got 300 and some followers, and for an old guy like me who just started YouTube and you're understanding the digital media, it's pretty amazing what kids can do nowadays. But we're going on our year number 17 for filming. And we've done a regional-based TV show out of Bismarck. Started this because we all work full-time, and we still work full-time. And I'm a school teacher and a rancher, and I didn't make enough money to go do the hunts that I wanted to do. And it kind of fell in our lap. We used to work on one of the first outdoor websites, Fishing Buddy, and we did some things there. TV station approached us. We knew absolutely nothing about outdoor TV and started filming. And we were all self-taught. I've learned everything from YouTube. And I think why we've done so well is that we just have a passion for the outdoors and the fact that we love to hunt and fish and we like to share it with other people. And so from there, it's kind of grown. We've made a pretty good name in the industry. A lot of people ask us why we don't go on to the national level. And right now, as you see with those kids, a lot of things are going to the digital media and away from national TV. And we've been lucky with our regional show that even if people drop their cable TV, they still have their local TV, and we're on that local TV.
So let's backtrack to. I'm not a hunter really. I have tried a couple times pheasant and grouse hunting. I do enjoy it. I have a hunting dog, but hunting is a culture here and a lifestyle and part of our personal adventures.
Right.
And you just mentioned you're a rancher, and you wear a cowboy hat. You're very much the Western boy that a European can imagine. I love that. So you are a hands-on professional. You're a rancher, but you have a passion for hunting. Tell us a little bit more about yourself and the hunting, and then how you said how you came to filming it.
Okay, well, I was lucky when I was a yonker, when I was a little kid. My dad loved to hunt and fish, and we grew up in the country. So we always had horses. We always liked to play in the mud, play in the dirt, and we were exposed to hunting and fishing. That was a way of life for everybody in North Dakota. And my dad bought a ranch when we were younger, and it's something, believe it or not, back when I was a kid, I had long hair and tie-dye shirt and played a lot of sports and had a lot of fun. But the ranching and hunting was always part of me. And as we got older, we continued to hunt and fish, and it's just a huge part of our life. In North Dakota, Minnesota, the Midwest, there's a lot of people that, they cut their teeth into hunting by shooting a gopher. We've just been those guys that have kind of gone beyond that. We love to do any kind of hunting possible. We'll go anywhere we can. We're opportunists. It's not about hunting private land or public land. We just love to hunt and fish. And right now I'm here by myself because my two business partners happen to be up in Canada, and they're ice fishing right now. My daughter's back home calving out some cows with her boyfriend. So we've always kind of been those redneck North Dakota guys that just have always had fun and really haven't changed much in our life. We still work full time. We all work. Kurt's in construction, Jason's a teacher, and myself, I'm a teacher, plus the ranch and the haying in the summertime. So we're always busy, but always thinking about hunting.
Okay, and you fish and you hunt big game upland, like
big game. We will hunt. We've hunted in Africa. We've gotten lucky to go over there. We do a lot of archery hunting for bear, antelope, elk. So a lot of big game. That's our passion. We used to do a lot more bird hunting when we were younger. Had dogs, yellow labs, so we did a lot of pheasant hunting. And as a population of pheasants have kind of struggled a little bit in North Dakota, we've turned more to big game hunting, but we'll do waterfowl. Kurt and Jason will fish. Jason fishes all summer long. So there's not much that we won't try or haven't done or will do. So we'll just keep going. And if there's an opportunity, we'll take advantage of it.
And your TV program, how is that organized? Or there must be a storytelling, there must be an idea. How do you create a TV show? I mean, is it how does that work? How do I come up with that?
Well, like I said, we knew nothing about putting together a TV show. And I mean absolutely nothing. So we just kind of asked a few questions. And like I said, I went to YouTube, started following some of those guys. And TV has changed a little bit where there's a lot of guys trying to do telling a story. We try to it's hard to tell a story in 20 minutes of actual video time. And we try to show the road trip, packing, headed down the road, because that's part of it. We start planning, months in advance, and we enjoy that. When we get in the truck together, we have 5 hours of windshield time. We enjoy that. There'll be days where it's 14 hours in a ground blind sitting with your daughter. No better time to catch up on things, and she can't run away from me, so she's got to talk to me. So it's been a big thing for me raising my kids and having two best friends getting to do it. You get to spend a lot of time together. And when we tell that story, we try to portray that it's just fun. It's fun being out there. We don't always kill something. If we quit hunting every time we didn't kill anything, we'd have quit a long time ago because we spend a lot of time. I figured out our bear hunting one time, and my daughter and I were going on about 200 hours sitting in a tree stand and hadn't killed a bear. So that's part of hunting. And we still have fun. We still make shows out of it. So we try to let people know that it's not always about the kill. It's about the times, the memories. As a dad now, my daughter's 21. The boyfriend is kind of taken over from dad's spot, so my heart is kind of hurt a little bit. She's supposed to be sitting next to me right now, but she's with her boyfriend. But I'm the guy that goes back home, and I get to watch all the videos of all the time we spent together, so it's a big part of hers and my life along with my friends. So we try to show that. We show that hunting in North Dakota is a family sport. It's a heritage. It's what we've grown up with here, and it is part of our culture.
So back when you began your TV program, did you have a vision, like looking at, I always say 20 years, but let's just assume 17 years later, could you have imagined to create something like that? Because it is not just a picture album, it's a not a reality show, but it is a reality show. You know what you have built and created. How do you feel about that?
Well, I can tell you, when we first started, our vision was if we're lucky and anybody watches the show, it's going to be a positive. We said the worst case scenario, we'll get to look at this stuff when we're older and sitting around the house. So my vision wasn't much at the time, but as we started going and we started building relationships with some of the people in the industry, it kind of created a monster, and I enjoy it. I like to see when we film, I like to go home and sit at the computer and see what kind of story I can put together and see what it turns out like. And when someone comes up and says, you know, I just watched your show this weekend and you did a great job, it makes you feel good that you're doing something that people want to see. And, you know, like being here today, have had at least a dozen people come by and say, you know, we love your show, we love watching it. My dad watches your show all the time. And that means a lot to us. We have a younger generation that watches us. We have some older generation. We have ladies that don't even hunt that watch our show. So I guess after 17 years, we're pretty happy where we're at. I've always said if we had to quit tomorrow, it would be hard because I enjoy it. But we're the number one watched and longest running TV show in North Dakota. So it's been a good run for us. But I want to keep doing it because I enjoy it so much.
So you made a passion and a hobby, hunting. You're not really living off it, but you made it a amateur level TV show. Do you meet professionals also? I don't really know the industry. You mentioned the industry a couple times. So who do you connect to? Did you connect to over the past 2 decades?
So the way it is when you look at the television industry, right now I always tell people we are the superstars of the B team. We are not the A team. We're not on the outdoor channel, but we've been on some of the programs. We film with some of the people that are on the outdoor channel. So we've had cameo appearances or hunted antelope with other shows. So right now in the outdoor industry, we're no different, honestly, than a Michael Waddell or anybody at the top level as far as working with our sponsors. They know who we are. We're just not on the outdoor channel. We're more of a regional show, and we like that. We've always felt that we have that people can approach us. They can come up to us at this show. They've seen our show. They can shake our hand and relate to us because they're no different than we are. We don't consider ourselves to be professional hunters, professional anything. We're just average Joe guys that love to hunt, that, like you said, took our passion to another level and have made it possible for us to get to experience more hunting and fishing.
And you want to keep going?
Absolutely want to keep going. I'm not going to quit until the good Lord takes me home.
And do you have, you probably increased your skills. You said you came from nothing. TV production is not part of your education.
Nope.
Do you have, I am sure you have improved over the time. You probably got equipment that you purchased and grew. The quality grew. Do you plan new productions, like you mentioned Africa? Is there something that you always wanted to hunt and that's coming up, like a special?
And when you talk about it, it's kind of funny when you look back on your life I was a big athlete, and I actually pulled out some videotapes from when I was in high school. And at the time, you may have been an All-American at that time, but then you watch yourself compared to All-American today. It's a big difference. And the same with the TV industry. When you start out, TV 17 years ago, there was no drone footage. There was no HD cameras. There were no sliders or anything like that in the hunting industry. So we have progressed along with the hunting industry and the TV. Watch Star Wars sometimes. When you were a kid, you thought it was the coolest show you've ever seen. And when you watch it now as an adult, it wasn't quite as what you thought it was, because technology and special effects have changed, and that's kind of changed and made it so, like I said, those young men that you had, those guys flying drones and using 4K cameras and slow motion cameras, those are things when we started we didn't have access to, but we now have access to them, and so we follow suit with the rest of the industry. And we pride ourselves on it, that the fact that even though we're regional, our show is at the quality that they are. We could put our show onto the Outdoor Channel and not have a problem with it. And as far as for us down the road for hunts, we end up kind of doing the same thing because we are limited on vacation time. As a school teacher, I have the summer off, but there's not a lot of things to hunt in the summer. That's why Jason fishes all summer. So for us, we usually do the same thing. We bear hunt, antelope hunt. Those are two things that we can do during summer break, because one is in the springtime and one is in right before school kicks off. We have some dreams. We want to go on an Alaskan moose hunt. I'd like to go caribou hunting again. I'd like to take my daughter over to Alaska. So I still have a pretty big bucket list, but it's going to take a few more years of working till I retire that I'll have enough time to get to go on some of those trips, because they take 10 days to go on those hunts, where most of the hunts we're going on now are 3 and 4 day.
So the furthest hunt, I assume, was Africa for you?
Yep, we were in Africa about 6 years ago. So that's a 15-hour flight across the ocean, which is amazing. A plane can stay up that long, and it was an eye-opening experience. You're in a whole different country, whole different world. Driving down the road and getting pulled over by the local police and getting shook down and have to pay money just to keep going. So it was interesting.
Okay, yeah, I can imagine.
Yeah. And again, it's a lot of people go over there. It's again, I would like to go to a lot of places. I'm not a big traveler, but if there's a pot of gold, which would be an animal for me to go hunt, I will go there. New Zealand's another place. There's a lot of opportunities out there that we haven't never even tapped into.
And you have hunted in Europe?
Never been to Europe.
Okay. Yeah, we have a different hunting culture. Hunting in America is so normal. It's just part of what we do. In Europe, not so much.
We're pretty proud in America to be God, guns, and country, and everybody totes a gun, everybody hunts. That's pretty much the way I was raised, and again, it's our culture. And I'm not saying, I told you earlier, I said we're pretty proud to be an American and have it the way we have, and sometimes it may come off a little harsh, but we're still the wild, wild west in some places. And you can go down to Wyoming and walk down the street and everybody's strapping a 6-shooter or a 9mm to their hip, and that's the way the town rolls. And that's just part of our country, and it's the part I guess I love the freedom.
Sure. Yeah. No. It makes sense to you. It's definitely.
It's different for someone coming from another country. I've not been to Germany. Not been over to Europe. So I'm one of those guys that I have really no desire to, just because I'm not a traveling person. I'd love to see the countryside, but I have so many things I want to do that revolve around seeing the United States and some of the places I haven't seen here. So I would like to first go to those, and then maybe head across seas sometime again.
How many different species do we have in North Dakota that we hunt? Bear.
In North Dakota, the season we have bear, but we don't have a season for bears. We just don't have a big enough population here. Across the border in Minnesota, they do. But we have the North American antelope. We have white-tailed deer, mule deer, elk, bighorn sheep, moose. So we have North Dakota is one of those places that we say is like a hidden gem. We have some of the greatest hunting and fishing in the United States, and you try to keep it quiet. And I guess guys like me don't keep it very quiet because we're producing a TV show and talking about what we have here in North Dakota. And everybody, North Dakota, Minnesota, South Dakota, we value that wildlife and the opportunities we have to hunt. And sometimes we find ourselves in a position where we promote ourselves out of our own places to hunt, because sometimes our job is to promote the outdoor industry. And I want people to hunt and fish, and sometimes the places we've hunted and fished, we have no longer room for us anymore because we've promoted them. So it's kind of a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
But we have a lot of opportunities right here in North Dakota, Minnesota for hunting.
I did not know we have antelope. I did not know we had moose too much. Is there, like, let's say I'm a city boy, even if I am a Fargo resident, which is city, obviously, is there services? Is there, like, do you guide hunts?
We don't guide hunts, but there are outfitters and guides in North Dakota, Minnesota that if you, a lot of times people don't have the time. They have money. They don't have the time to go spend 10 days scouting and doing the things, so they'll hire a guide and outfitter. And you're paying a guide and outfitter to do the homework for you. And it's not a bad way to go. So for somebody in town that has never been on an antelope hunt, if they want to go on an antelope hunt, they can research it. They can give us a call. We can point them in the right direction to find somebody that they'd be comfortable with to go on an outfitted hunt. So there's a lot of opportunities out there. It's sad. Some of them have to do with money and private land and things like that, but there's a lot of public land that a person can go hunt on. And what I tell anybody when they're a first-time hunter or just learning how to hunt is talk to guys like myself that like to share things. Go to your local archery club, go to Shields, your Runnings or your Fleet Farm. Talk to the guys in the sporting goods area, and there's a lot of clubs out there, Pheasants Forever, Mule Deer Foundation, that will help first-time hunters get organized, get out there. There's things for kids. So there's a lot of untapped examples or things that you can do out there. If you find the right people, will point you in the right direction.
Yeah. I always dream, it's very difficult for me. I make it more difficult than it maybe is, because there is a lot of public land also close by. But it's the education. I'm uneducated.
It's intimidating.
Yeah.
And that's, I see a lot of that. It's intimidating to people to get out there and try something. And the thing that helped me growing up is belonging to some of these clubs, to these organizations, because there's always somebody there like myself that's more than willing to take you under their wing and show you. Because for us in the outdoor industry, nowadays with phones, computers and things like that, our kids are spending less and less time outside. And matter of fact, a study was done that sometimes we're beating our heads against a wall trying to get kids into the outdoors, and we should be looking at guys like yourself or people that are in college that have the financial means to do it and get them hooked on it, and then they'll get their kids hooked on it. So we spend a lot of time with youth organizations, but again, getting somebody like you, if I get you hooked on hunting, what are you going to do with your son? So that's the way we look at it. And we want people, because if we lose all our hunters, it won't take us long, and the anti-hunters will have everything shut down.
Yeah. Do you get approached by your audience? Do you get emails? Do you get
We do.
Requests?
We get requests. We get asked. A lot of times people ask us if we would take them on a hunt or a thing like that. And I would take everybody hunting every day of my life if I had the time. But the problem is that a lot of times we get 4 days to hunt. We work with some organizations out there like the Outdoor Adventure Foundation, where kids that are terminally ill. We work with a program out in western North Dakota with Wounded Warriors, and we take them on hunts. A lot of times we just take friends or somebody, that wants to go fishing. Again, all three of us that do this love to share the outdoors. So if we have time, I'll go down. I met a kid the other day. We went down, set up his bow, got him shooting and getting him on track so that he can go turkey hunting. So we're always willing to help anybody that we can. It's just a lot of it comes down to time.
Yeah, I see. Well, you got me fired up again, actually. I just got a small Münsterländer hunting dog, pointer retriever, and I want to try him as a pheasant dog. Right. And I'll definitely maybe I contact you for a couple of location suggestions.
Well, and the thing about that is I tell people, I said, there's a lot of public land, and I see guys that get out there. It's just fun. I used to have golden labs or yellow labs, and that's probably one of the reasons I don't hunt birds as often as I do now, is because I have not replaced them since they passed away. But there's nothing more enjoyable than going out there, even if you don't have your gun with you. Just take your dogs out to some of those locations, work your dog, watch them flush the birds or point the birds, whatever you have, and get some of that confidence up. You may find some of those places, getting out there and just traveling around and get out and talk to some of the farmers and just go introduce yourself to them, and you might find yourself a little honey hole someday just by getting out and driving around, just taking your dog for a walk in some of these areas.
Yeah, I will do this, yeah. Well, was there anything you wanted to share that I forgot to ask about?
No, I guess, that's pretty much. I just, like I said, there's a lot. I get a lot of questions asked, and I always tell people, no matter what side of the fence you're on. I had a lady come up and say she's a vegetarian. Absolutely nothing wrong with that. I tell people that there's a lot of opinions in this world. Everybody has their own opinion, and everybody thinks they're right. Just be kind in how you say it. Kill them with kindness is my words, and like I said, I think it will make the world a little bit better, whether you're a hunter against hunting. Just use your words kindly, and you don't always have to agree with everybody, but sometimes you can just agree to disagree and go on with life and let everybody have a good time.
I agree, and if anybody has further questions, John is available here at our booth. And thank you very much for coming.
Thank you for having me. It's been a nice event. It's nice to get out and talk to people. Like I said, this is how we gauge how our show is doing, is by the people that come up and tell us, thanks for putting on the show. We watched your show, caught your show this morning, that kind of thing. So thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, this was already our newest episode of the Lake Life Weekend podcast. We sure hope you enjoyed it. Tune in again next week with another great guest and updates. Always check out our website, lakelifeweekend.com, and if you have some comments, please feel free to email us at hello@lakelifeweekend.com, and you have a wonderful weekend ahead.